The following is a presentation of TFNN. Time to talk about your health. Living a Primal Lifestyle. With your hosts, Nico and Ellen Haan. Now, Nico and Ellen Haan.
Good morning, I'm Nico Haan, and welcome to Living a Primal Lifestyle, where we explore a return to a more balanced and natural wild world.
To recover our natural health and regain our rights and freedoms. Good morning, I'm Ellen Haan.
It's a beautiful day in downtown St. Petersburg, 75 degrees and cloudy, and kind of like April, May weather.
Yeah,
it's very nice. Spring, Yep, it's very good. Please subscribe to our Health Signals newsletter. Got a brand new one coming out again on the 15th, and we're talking about COVID-19 and all that stuff, of course. But there's a lot of other things in there, too. And also I'd like to remind you to pick up our one-shot wonder, Primal Edge, over 310 organic cell-ready liquid ingredients, so it's easy to take, and it's all powered by fulvic and humic acids, and these are the molecules that tell the body whether to accept it or to get rid of it. And it's very important these days because these fulvic and humic acids do protect your body from things like COVID-19. So pick that up. It's $89 a month for your monthly subscription. Welcome to the show, darling.
Well, thank you very much.
I wanted to talk a little bit, and John in the chat room mentioned he wanted to us to talk about some processed foods too, so we'll do that during our third session here. But I wanted to start with the new airline travel. This was in the Wall Street Journal this morning. I thought, why not talk about it? Fewer flights, more layovers, rule for bathrooms. It's, before they were jamming them in as much as possible, making the seats smaller. Now it's the opposite thing.
Yeah, it's travel's never going to be the same. I don't think people are staying away from travel in droves, and international travel is not. You can't do it right now, and
difficult.
And it'll be fascinating to see what happens. The money that the airlines were making, the extra fees they were charging, things that they're suspending for right now, but they still can't get enough people on the plane. They're downsizing the planes. When right before all the close down started, I flew up to Philadelphia for a conference, and the plane was much smaller than you would normally see, and it was full because they made sure they sold every seat, but it was a much smaller plane.
Yeah. Well, there's definitely things going on here, and one of the things they mentioned in this article here is if you need to go to the bathroom, you raise your hand. So now we're back in the secondary school again.
Yeah, well, that was just one airline that was talking about that, but still, it's people standing in the line in the aisle and too close.
Well, what about just getting on the plane? How do you social distance if you're in a line?
Yeah.
6 feet apart line doesn't make much sense. You've stretched out in the parking lot all of a sudden. I don't know.
Right.
It's crazy.
They're also talking about staggering flights. They're talking about long 2-hour breaks between flights when the flight comes in and the time it takes off just for cleaning. And the whole process is just going to be longer and more delays, and I don't know.
And it's going to be less socially acceptable for a person to get on a plane who isn't well.
Yeah, boy, and how many times have you gotten on a plane with somebody coughing and hacking and sneezing, and obviously...
Yeah, this is definitely going to change things. I'm just wondering if this... now airlines can't be profitable anymore. Do they bring them into these, the commons kind of thing, like the roads, where they don't need to be profitable because we need to go places? Or is this going to stay in this system, they're already substituting fuel, they're substituting building the planes, everything.
Yeah, and they're talking about permanently parking some of the very large planes because they don't see that there's going to be a demand for them.
Yeah.
With all the video and teleconferencing and things that are going on, people have discovered alternatives that they hadn't explored before. Instead of sending a big corporation, instead of sending out 50, 100 representatives to to fly to Europe or whatever.
Or Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, you wonder if it's going to be a big cutback on travel, which probably will have an interesting ripple effect on the social and family dynamics.
Yeah, well, of course, we've talked about the next 10, 20 years, we're going to be doing a lot of traveling. But we had already decided this going to kind of stay on this continent as much as possible because we don't like flying that much anyway. And there's a lot of country to see here in the United States, Canada, Mexico.
And we're talking about driving.
And we're talking about driving. And of course, with gas prices low, I don't know if they're going to stay that low, but you wonder if everybody's going to hit the road now. I have a customer, Renee, who's now going out for her first adventure, going to the Dakotas. So a bunch of people are going to meet in Denver. And it's kind of, I said, oh, good, tell me how it is, because we have one planned in August. Yeah, is it going to be the same on the road? I mean, you need a place to stay. So first of all, the hotels have to be open. Gas stations these days, I don't think are a big problem because you're going to go to a gas station. Nobody's waiting on you anyway. It's all self-service. The only thing is the bathroom trip.
Yeah. But, well, and
you stop for two reasons: for gas and
bio break.
Bio break. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's. I think there'll be a lot of changes in just the way we live and the way we do business, and the airlines are huge because so many people fly on a regular basis, millions and millions and millions and millions of people.
Yep.
And having...
Well, our whole political system is destined to be in one city, in Washington, so everybody has to go there, it seems like. So a lot of people have changed that already.
Well, and are they joining by conference call, by video conferencing?
And how are they going to do the voting? Because voting is in person. You can't teleprompt.
Well, you can. There are all kinds of devices even now where you can pass them out to the people in the audience and they can vote right then and there, and it shows up right on the screen.
Yeah, that's true. But in Congress, at least in the United States Congress and the Senate, I think you have to be there in person.
Well, they do a roll call vote.
Right.
Well, they can still do a roll call vote. You're in. It's for example, in condominiums and homeowner associations, the law says if you join by conference call of some kind, you're considered to be present in person.
Right.
So,
changes will be made. There's no doubt about that. It's just I'm just wondering how they're going to. Well, we'll find out, right?
Or we won't.
Yeah, I suppose so. One of the biggest challenges revolves around the viability of social distancing at airports and onboard aircraft. Many industry executives say it isn't feasible. There's little agreement on standards. Industry leaders are insisting on consistency around the world so passengers aren't confused. Yeah, that would be nice too. It's impossible to socially distance in an airport, they're saying. And it does seem like, well, that's going to be difficult for sure.
Yeah.
But do we even want that? I mean, people are anxious to get out. I mean, look what happened to the beaches. Now, we didn't go to the beach because we generally don't hang around the beach that much. But they say the beaches were just crowded like crazy.
Jammed.
Jammed. Yeah.
And even though the sheriff's department was patrolling the beaches, trying to keep people. But if you're with your immediate family.
Well, we'll be right back, folks, and then we'll be back with our family.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com. Will the S&P 500 continue to climb? For bold trades on U.S. large-cap stocks in either direction, trade SPXL, SPUU, or SPXS. Directions Daily S&P 500 Bull and Bear Leveraged ETFs. Direction Leveraged ETFs. An investor should carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risks, charges, and expenses before investing. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a fund's prospectus and summary prospectus, call 866-476-7523 or visit directioninvestments.com. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
And welcome back to the show. I want to talk a little bit about healthcare workers. We got a call from our daughter Kelly, who works at a hospital. She's a nurse, and she's laid off. And that got me kind of thinking.
She's in neuroscience, so she was very hands-on, putting what do you call it, contacts on people.
What's happening is people are being laid off. That's not part of the coronavirus task force type of thing. So if you're not involved in this flu, we need the hospital space, or it's just too dangerous to do other things. And I think this got me to thinking that we've set up these hospitals completely different, because why would you, and we've been dealing with these types of viruses for a long time, contagious viruses, and every time Ebola comes up, they set up these camps where the sick people go. They don't send them to the hospitals. Mm-hmm. And this is what should have been done. I mean, there was a great idea bringing a ship into the harbor, but they put the well people in it.
In jeopardy.
And they put them in there to treat them for other things. It should, there's no way you want anybody who's infectious to come into a hospital. So you would naturally set up a grid type of army type of hospital where this is going to be temporary, and this is where the infected people go. They don't go in a hospital where you're fixing broken arms and heart disease and all these other things. It just makes sense, and this is what we're doing. So I don't understand this at all.
Yeah, and people have been talking for a long time about when you go into the hospital, you can come out with an infection, the MRSA or some terrible thing that people contract in the hospitals. But just sort of at the beginning of this conversation is the fact that the hospitals were not inundated with COVID-19 patients.
But there were warnings for a year or two that this was going to be happening.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying that they weren't overwhelmed, and suddenly they have and it's all about the profits.
Yeah.
It's about the hospital's not making money because people had to cancel their elective surgeries, or the people stayed away from the hospitals.
Yeah, but why would you do that when it's much easier to set up a tent in another place in a park, close down the parks?
I understand what you're saying, and it makes, and we were talking about having one section of the hospital be for contagious diseases, or even a separate building.
I would say a separate campus.
Mm-hmm. That you would go to if you had something contagious, and versus.
And if this is going to be a regular thing, which they're saying it are, our forefathers were predicting this for a dozen years or more, that this was happening. Everybody was predicting this, and nobody is on the ball saying, hey, go to the emergency room where the person's sitting with a broken arm or broken leg. It doesn't make sense at all.
Well, and as it turned out, that didn't happen. The COVID people didn't go to the emergency rooms, and But the question is really, there's a fundamental question about how you set up a hospital.
Yeah.
And does this make any sense? Just generically speaking, that if you have contagious things and non-contagious things, you have surgeries versus long-term care, if you have
Especially
ICU.
when you have something that's so contagious as this is supposed to be. It's very contagious. Why don't you and I have it? Why, we had talked about this last week. During a normal flu season, I usually know 2, 3, maybe 4 or 5 people that have the flu.
Yeah.
And during this whole thing, I know nobody that has this. I know people who know people.
Or think they know people.
Right.
And then I was talking to a friend yesterday and said, do you know anybody who had COVID-19? And he said, no, I don't know anybody. And his wife didn't know anybody. And
this is much more contagious than the normal flus. And the normal flus, you usually know people. So it's just, just a thought. I'm not saying this isn't real or anything, but a lot of these things don't make sense. It doesn't make sense to shut down an economy.
Well, I don't know what that is. Why is that why I'm more worried about the workers at the hospitals who are
laid off. And the ones that aren't are in jeopardy because they're getting tagged with this.
Who knows what they're getting exposed to.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's...
So things, I think, are going to have to be set up completely different. You're going to have a different campus for infectious disease than you are with people who are being fixed. And we're very good at fixing people here in this country. So we have a lot of broken noses and broken arms and different type of plastic surgeries that can be done without fear of getting some other disease because you're in a place where this takes place.
This is interesting because it really leads to a very big conversation. That's repurposing the physical infrastructure that we have in terms of if the hospital is not going to operate the way it has traditionally, what's that going to look like? Yeah. And there's a lot of clinics that have sprung up,
right.
Urgent care clinics of various sorts, and if you don't have something if you don't have a broken leg, for example, you can go to a clinic and
Well, it's going to change just like the garages changed. Remember when we used to get gasoline in the 50s, there was a garage there where they could also fix the car. Now we have places you can get gas, but you can't get your car fixed.
Well,
there's not even anybody waiting on you.
Yeah, they came and wiped your windshield.
Yeah,
and
they practically cleaned the whole darn thing, just to get gas in there, and the gas was so cheap.
And checked your oil.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a whole different world.
Yeah.
Automation has been a two-edged sword, of course.
Yeah,
But if we're talking about hospitals, and then we're thinking about people being laid off, and then we start talking about office buildings, large physical plants of campuses of big corporations.
Well, California has said the kids aren't going back to school in September. They haven't really said what they're going to do, but they said nobody's going back to school, at least not in our campuses so far. So what are they going to do with all these buildings? And maybe I've said this before, maybe this is where we grow the food next, because the climate is changing. But, it's puzzling to me how this whole, we have stopped the economy completely and stopped everybody from working, and luckily we're in pretty good shape. If we take a hit of 25% because the food is now 25% higher, we're kind of lucky we can still manage it. It's not any fun, but imagine people who are on that monthly budget that you don't have any more to squeeze out.
Yeah, I taught a class for Habitat for Humanity, a group of homeowner candidates who were in the pipeline working their way towards their first home and owning a home.
Yeah.
And I was talking to them about dealing with the quarantine and stress and so on, and I was mindful the whole time of the conditions under which a lot of people live these days. That's not, we're quarantined in our very nice home with good air conditioning and hot water and comfortable outdoor living space where we can go outside. But if you have a situation where you can't even go outside because people are shooting guns or drugs outside, what kind of a life is that to be 8 weeks in your with 12 other people maybe, or even just your family. But
Yeah, and then the response of police in those areas might not be too great either. Now, you know, there's trouble. So a lot to think about. You know, we're coming out of this in Florida. We're now, the restaurants are 50%. Instead of just 25%. Bars aren't open yet, which I think is kind of strange, because I think
well, you
you're
can't
separated.
sit next to each other on a bar stool.
Well, you can have bar stools 6 feet apart. You can, I mean, it's just, a lot of this makes no
I'm going
sense
to take
at all.
pictures of that. That's going to be interesting.
But anyway, you know, let's go on with this. So the next segment, we're going to do the Beyond Meat Impossible Foods and Memphis Meat and talk about a little bit of this fake food. I think that's important. In the meantime, please subscribe to both the Primal Edge and our Health Signals newsletter, and this will help you get on the right track. So stick around, folks. We'll be right back.
Would like to tell you about the personal training studio that Nico is the owner and president of, Performance Training. Since 1998, Nico has trained individuals and groups to improve their health both mentally and physically. As a certified personal trainer, Nico's main focus is on demonstrating exercises correctly to avoid injury and teaching his clients how to manage their past injuries while getting the most out of their personal training sessions. The Performance Training Studio is filled with unique training equipment that enhances balanced results at a faster rate while minimizing damage and discomfort. For more information, you can give Nico a call at 727-418-8740 or email him at nico@tfnn.com. Let him know you heard him on TFNN and save up to $100 on a special package just for TFNN listeners. Act today. If you're not currently using the TAS Profile Scanner when looking at setting up your trading opportunities, then your arsenal is short a mighty weapon. The TAS Profile Scanner is a standalone piece of software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Headed by Steve Dahl, TAS understands that in today's technological world, the use of top-flight software applications and technical analysis expertise is essential to successful trading in today's market. You also gain access to the webinar that Steve Dahl and Tom O'Brien just hosted, The Best Way to Use the TAS Profile Scanner to Profit. This webinar archive is available for all subscribers immediately upon signing up. All new subscriptions also come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Start your subscription by visiting the front page of TFNN.com today, and you'll find the TAS Profile Scanner under the Services tab. Sign up today. Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And welcome back. We're talking about fake meat or real meat or processed foods. Back in the 70s, I went through a stage where I was a vegetarian. I decided to try that. And everything that you could get that wasn't meat was soy-based. But in the 70s, you didn't have all your genetically modified organisms and you didn't have your GMO soy. And so it wasn't as dangerous, or for me, it wasn't as dangerous a process as it might be today. But things didn't taste that good. The only cheeses were soy-based cheeses, and then soy burgers and whatnot. And it seems that now, all of a sudden, there's a big push for fake meat. What's that about?
Well, a lot of it has to do with people who think it might be healthier. I think some people, the food companies are pushing it because it's probably more profitable because you can keep it on the shelf.
Yeah.
These fake meats are made out of plants, of course, and they're made out of different parts of plants. Now, I always like to categorize food in 3 different groups. The first one being the primary food, which is the stuff that you go after. And I always think about like it being a hunter and gatherer. So if I'm thinking food, I'm thinking going hunting. The secondary food would be the things, well, hunting wasn't so good, I better grab some tubers or stuff like that.
Gathering.
Or gathering things. Or maybe I wanted the big moose. I couldn't find a moose, I found a rabbit. So the rabbit is kind of the secondary food. Doesn't have as much fat, it's not as good for you. And then I call the other foods kind of fallback foods. Foods that you can store.
Survival foods.
Survival foods. They're not that nutrient dense. And it's all about the density of the nutrients in the food. So the primary foods have the most density of food. Smallest package, biggest bang for your buck. That's really important. The secondary food doesn't have that. You have to do a lot more plant food to get the same thing as in a piece of really good meat.
Well, and then, and what about amino acids and the
amino acids are the basis of protein, and protein is in both plants and animals, but we know that human beings assimilate the meat a lot easier, whereas the protein in plants is almost hidden. It's part of their defense systems. A lot of these proteins have things attached to them, so they're not pleasant to eat, so you have to cook them. You have to cook them maybe twice sometimes. Maybe you have to shell them first and then cook them. So there's processes involved. So you got the primary meats, very simple. It's the first thing you think of. Well, if you're a vegetarian, this would be the plants that you have very handy. If you're a meat eater, it would certainly be the meat. But the secondary foods would be well, I don't have this now. What else can I do? And these things, I think, came about because when you don't have your primary food, you're going to try anything. If I do this to this, can I eat it? And will I be healthy? And our ancestors figured this stuff out. So they were always after the primary food, but the secondary food, they figured, well, this is what we're eating until the buffalo come back or whatever.
Oh, what's in, like, for example, the Impossible Burger?
Well, that's the point I'm trying to make here, because it's really important to understand that the fallback foods are all the seed and the beans, things you can store, things that are the lifeline of the plant that doesn't want you to kill it because that's the plant tomorrow. So we have a lot of things in these seeds that are not good for us, and that's why we hull them, and that's why we sour them and things like that. All these things, the Impossible Burger, the Beyond Burger, all these things are made out of those foods that I call throwback foods.
Well, the Beyond Burger includes purified pea protein.
That's a seed.
PEA.
Yeah.
Coconut and canola oils, rice protein, potato starch, and beet juice for coloring.
Yeah.
Now, I personally have a problem with rice and potatoes, just physically have a problem with them. And peas, those are seeds. Canola oil is not...
It's from a seed.
It's from a seed. And if I could not eat a Beyond Burger because I'm basically allergic to some of the things that are in it.
Plus the nutrients aren't there.
Well, yeah. But
yeah. And you know, again, these are fallback foods, so it's the lowest on the totem pole as far as nutrition is concerned. And they became important. They became the holy bread because we know these saved our lives during very hard times, during catastrophes. So that's why we have them around. That's why armies move well on wheat. They're seeds. They can, you know, you can grind them up, you can carry them, and you can make stuff out of them. Yeah. Not that healthy, but we don't care about health at that point. When you're starving, you don't care about health, you care about living so you can get healthy later. So all these Impossible Burgers, Beyond Burgers, and all these things are made out of the seed products that I say are the fallback foods, the lowest on the totem pole, and that's why I don't think they're any good. Would I eat them? Yeah, if I don't have anything else, you're going to eat whatever.
Well, they're also very high in sodium.
Well, of course, you have to, when you take the fat out, which is our fuel,
Right.
you have to do it with carbohydrates, you have to do it with salts and sugars and things like
flavor,
that. For
isn't it?
flavor,
Yeah.
exactly. So if you're eating just peas, the way they're making this burger out of peas, you're going to put it in your mouth and you're going to say, I don't want to eat this.
Well,
So you have to flavor it.
This is interesting because it says an uncooked 4-ounce beef patty has 75 milligrams of sodium, but an Impossible Burger has 370 milligrams of sodium, and the Beyond Burger has 390 milligrams of sodium. And people who have to watch their salt intake, that's going to be a problem.
Well, one of the queries here on the chat room, Beyond Burgers are kind of nasty, but I'm a big fan of the Impossible Burger. They're going to make these things taste better and better as they go,
Put enough
because
sugar
that's what
in
we
it.
do.
We like
well,
it.
whatever they use, it doesn't really matter, but be sure that they're not using part of the meat. That is really good for you. So, and you can classify meats in the first and second group too. If you're saying, the fresh meat is the primary food, the secondary food is the food that's left over, the bacon for later on, the canned food that we make out of it, or this just keeping the lard, that's kind of a secondary food. So, I think this system of having the primary food, secondary food, and the fallback foods are important for you just to categorize and say, what's really good for me? What's the primary foods that we live on all the time? Secondary foods when we have to, and fallbacks when we really are in trouble. But after the hurricane is gone, you don't go eating rice every day.
No.
You don't go back to those fallback foods. You go back to the primary foods because you want to be healthy.
The interesting thing for me too on this is the publicity, the PR around the non-meat.
Well, remember that if you can have a product that you can keep on the shelf for a couple of years without worrying that it goes bad, you've got that available for somebody all the time. Where a fresh piece of meat, you put it on the shelf, is only good for so long. You have to spend money to keep it fresh. Refrigeration, cleanliness. You have to handle it differently. You can't just toss it around like a bag of chips. So these foods are completely different than the foods we want to eat on a daily basis.
Yeah, but the PR is, the meme is, the methane produced by cows is damaging the ecosystem.
Well, if you don't feed the cows those grains, they won't be farting all over the place. Yes, so there's your answer there.
That's the point. And now, if we put all these grains into the fake meat, we may have people that are contributing to that.
There you go. We'll be right back, folks.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
The gold market has taken off topside in a large way in 2020. If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my gold report. The gold report took profits in 4 of its equities in the gold portfolio in the first week of January for a combined profit of 99.2%, with 2 positions left in the portfolio that have a profit of 67.5% as of January 7th. The Gold Report is a comprehensive look at the metals sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the Gold Report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, GDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the Gold Report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride a next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
And welcome back. Just to tie up the loose ends from that last section is you've really got to look at the ingredients of what are in these Impossible Burgers and realize that if you want to be a vegetarian, there are certainly ways you can do that and be healthy, because I see people doing this all the time. They're not the ones eating these things.
Right.
These are a kind of substitute. You like meat, but we want to transfer you over to being a non-meat eater, and this is going to taste kind of like it. It's just a fake thing, and it's not very good. If you see the ingredients, they are all in that category of fallback foods, which is the lowest nutrition.
Or they're chemicals.
Well, the chemicals are there to bind them together and make them taste better, so you've got the worst of both things. So,
and that applies to all foods that you eat.
Yeah.
You should know what's in your food.
Yeah.
If you're eating, when you're buying, look at the labels.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's shocking what's in the food.
Well, if you don't recognize it as something living, then it's probably not that good for you.
Right.
I mean, you
if
know
it
what
has
a
more
piece of
than
meat
14
is.
syllables.
Well, you know what a piece of meat is. You know what if it's good or rancid or not. It's very easy with plant food. You know if it's good, because if it's not wilted, it's crispy.
Yeah.
You know.
Or doesn't have any mold on it.
Yeah,
or,
exactly, and it's clean, sort of clean. We still need some dirt in there too. But I wanted to go to this next article, what's happening in your body after 6 weeks of social distancing. And this is, now it's actually 8 or 9 weeks into this.
Yeah, it is.
So it's been quite a while, and if you don't get out much, it becomes a problem, because this really does impact your health, because being inside is no good. If you're lucky enough to have a yard and go for these walks that we see people in our neighborhood doing, then you're one of the lucky ones. You need to do those things.
If you're cut off from sun, and you're cut off from contact, and you're cut off from moving from your chair, if you're sitting in front of the computer all day.
Yeah. So I think basically we're really talking about stress, the added stress, and we've talked about this in past weeks, how we're right at this high stress level, and anything more confusing just puts you over the edge, and now you need help.
When I was talking to our friend yesterday, he has 2 children who are 8 and 6, and I had mentioned that one of the concerns that I have is how this will affect the children psychologically. And he said, one of the things he said was they could see out their window that people in the neighborhood have started to come out and talk to each other and walk around. And one of his daughters was very concerned, and she said to him, they're going to catch the coronavirus. What are they doing? And she was very upset about it.
Yeah.
And he talked to her about it and said, well, they're not going to catch the coronavirus. That's walking around outside doesn't do that.
Yeah, I see people in the car with a mask on. It doesn't by themselves. Or people on a bike riding.
Yeah.
I mean, the safest place, I would think, is outside in the breeze.
Yeah, as long as you're not behind somebody.
I mean, on a bike.
But the people, there was a recent article about somebody who collapsed running with a mask. he wasn't getting enough oxygen, and they were talking about. He said, "Don't do that." You know?
I don't even like talking with the mask. I don't like the mask myself.
You know, I felt claustrophobic wearing the mask, and it just plus it kind of. You couldn't get it adjusted just right, and
it's too warm.
It's very warm because as you exhale, your breath is heated, and it's right on your face.
Yeah.
And,
well, a lot of places we go aren't requiring it. The places that do require it, I'll certainly put a mask on. I'm not stressed about it at all. But stress is the thing that is the immediate thing that is holding us together right now, or maybe pulling us apart. It's also messing with our sleep cycles. It's kind of the opening door to illness. Stresses.
And once you stress yourself, your immune system is compromised because you can't function as well under stress, and you open the doors to possible diseases.
It says here, quarantine, isolation, and extra time at home likely has a lot of people thrown off their usual sleep routine. That hasn't happened for me. I am still going to bed about the same time. But it has changed our lives quite a bit. I mean, now we're in a completely different routine where it's just shortened. The routine is still there, but you're not going as far. You're doing these things right around the house instead of, usually you're doing a lot of different things outside the house too.
Yeah,
It's nice coming to the studio here.
Right.
It's just a nice little break for us.
Yeah. And I do have an appointment on Wednesday to go to, and I was just on the road down here. I was thinking, gee, I wonder if my car will start. I haven't driven it in 8 weeks, or I wonder if that one tire that was that was reading on the gauge a little low, I'm going to have to check that and stop by the repair shop for a minute and get the tires checked.
That usually comes with a change of weather too, doesn't it? I mean, when it gets a little warmer or a little cooler here.
Usually
the tires,
cold.
Usually cold.
My tires decide to.
Self-isolation may also throw off your posture with knock-on benefits. Working from home during the quarantine without correct office setup can lead to significant back, spine, and neck problems.
And that is a problem because people, I see it all the time in myself, even just reminding myself, sit back in the chair and sit up.
Yeah.
And maybe raise the monitor a little bit if you're using a monitor, just so you're not looking down all the time. And I don't get the whole thing with the phone. For me, a phone, I pick it up so I can look at it. Most people just have this phone down here and they're looking at it like.
Yeah, that's not really good for your neck.
And it's terrible for your neck.
Yeah, so holding it up here would be better.
Yeah. Although I did see, I saw the ultimate ridiculous result of that, and that was. I was sitting in a car at red light way before the quarantine, and I looked over to the person next to me, and a young woman was sitting in the car like this, but there was no phone in her hand.
She was
just so used to having that phone there.
That's pretty funny.
She was waiting for the red light to change like this.
Yeah, I'm waiting up for the new heads-up display for your phone, where you can just hold your phone anywhere close to you like this, and it's there. Up there.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah, so
a holographic.
Get on working on it, Apple. Come on, we need some new gadgets, don't we?
Right.
Yeah. It says simple stuff can help you if you're feeling that your body's struggling. Get moving when you can. Eat nourishing food when it's possible. Try to sleep when your body needs rest. Practicing mindfulness. There's that word again, and meditation and things like that are very important.
One thing about just mindfulness for a minute. There's a lot of people talking about gratitude and expressing gratitude and something. I was having one morning about a week ago. I just think little things are going wrong, out of sync. So I went in the shower and I'm thinking, geez, what else could go wrong? And I thought, wait a minute.
Don't say that.
Wait a minute. What else could go right?
Exactly.
And I shifted my mind and I thought, okay, what do I have to be happy about,
thankful for,
and thankful for, and grateful for, and it shifted my whole attitude and changed my day.
And that's the important thing to realize, that you can shift your focus when you're thinking of negative things. You can definitely turn it around.
It's all about the words.
Yeah, and it's also, we have these little things that we do in the morning, little routines. Some of them may include affirmations.
I do affirmations every morning, before I even get out of bed.
So some of these routines that we do, I do the breathing exercise exercises that helps calm me. I do the cold dunk, which has been really good. It's really cold.
Wait.
Yeah, that's right. We got a new, I should tell, maybe during the next segment we'll talk about that. Anyway, stick around, folks. We got a little bit more, and we'll be right back.
I'm certain you are or strive to be one of the best at everything you do in life. It's the most common trait that we tigers and tigresses share. If you're looking to become the best of the best when it comes to managing your money, let me teach you to do what most wealth managers tell you can't be done, which is how to time the markets. I'm Steve Rhodes, author of Mastering Probability, and for the last 12 months, Timer Digest has been tracking my newsletter signals, which have earned me the ranking as their #1 market timer in the nation for the S&P 500 for the last 12, 6, and 3 months. Timer Digest also ranks me as the #1 market timer for gold as well. The fact is, markets can be timed, and I'll teach you the exact set of tools that I use that has transformed me into one of the best at what I do. Sign up for Mastering Probability today by clicking on the newsletter tab on the homepage of TFNN.com and get immediate access to workshops where I take you step by step how to use an extraordinary set of tools as well as provide great market calls too. Sign up today.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get them, folks.
TFNN has developed a daily programming lineup for traders by traders. We start every trading day live at 8:30 a.m. with Tommy O'Brien hosting the morning market kickoff as he starts the day off by breaking down everything you need to know about what's going on for the trading day ahead. At 9 a.m., Larry Pesavento takes your calls and questions live on the air for the opening bell as he hosts Trade What You See. At 10 a.m., Tom and Tommy O'Brien host the Bull Bear Trading Hour. At 11 a.m., it's Kevin Hinks and Alex Coffey from TD Ameritrade Network with Fast Market. Basil Chapman at noon with the Tiger Technicians Hour. Steve Rhodes hosts the Trader's Edge at 1 p.m. Dave White with the Power Trading Hour at 2 p.m. And Tom O'Brien closes out the day for the final hour of trading live from 3 till 4. Don't miss a second of our daily programming lineup. Tune in to Tiger TV every trading day live at TFNN.com. Educating investors.
So with our swimming pool and our spa, we've had this gas heater for quite a while, and it's propane gas, which is really kind of expensive. So going into the pool place to have my water checked, they had this nice big unit sitting there, and it's electric. And I thought, since we have solar panels, makes sense because we're paying, a couple of $1,000.
$11 a month for electricity.
Yeah, and for the gas, it was like $800 every 4 months.
Every time they filled it up, yeah.
It was a lot of money, so I think, better investment just to get that. And he says, well, we also have chillers. I said, chillers? He said, yeah, in fact, this unit does both. I'm in, so we talked it over a little bit. And let's get that in there because that could pay for itself, no doubt. And I've been doing dunking for quite a while, for quite a few years, and mostly in the wintertime. Our pool gets down to about 60 degrees, and I dunk in there and stay in there for 3, 4, 5 minutes, no problem. So this thing started working, so I jump in there at about 55 degrees, and oh my God. I thought, Jesus, and my arms got so cold, and I could get in there maybe 30 seconds, and I had to get out. So, and I've been progressing now. I'm up to about a minute and a half, and you know, so it's a progression. But I thought, oh my goodness, how can? And the thing that really gets cold is your arms. The body, not so much, because I'm doing.
Because your core.
Well, I'm also doing those breathing exercises,
Right.
which brings the blood way in. But the arms are cold. So yesterday I stood out there and I had my arms in the air. It's a lot easier
surrender.
now. Yeah, exactly. Surrender to the cold. But it is fantastic. It takes a couple hours to get it down to about 50 degrees or so, and I'm slowly working my way. This thing takes it all the way down to 40. So I don't know how long it'll take me to get to 40, but I'm definitely.
I want to see
I'm
what
committed.
the electric bill is. That'll be interesting.
Well, it shouldn't be anything.
Yeah, well,
We'll find out.
We'll
Yeah,
find out.
exactly. But yeah, we've been lucky with the solar panels. It's that's been working out real well. And the other thing is, always adds value to your home when you have these gadgets there, and I think that's important.
It's like the whole house water softener that we have.
Yeah.
It makes a big difference to the quality of the water.
Yeah. So every little thing that we can make quality better, especially now that we're staying home more and more and more. Hopefully that won't be the case in the future. So.
Right.
Well, thanks for sticking around, folks. That's our show for today, and we'll see you next week.
Be safe.
Bye-bye.